Hi everyone, I'm Lorna and I'm absolutely delighted to be taking the next masterclass, camping masterclass for the Cotswold Outdoor Weekend in association with Van Gogh. So welcome to the sunny Spey. This is the River Spey and we've been travelling down by Canoe today and we've set up camp on a tiny little island just off the side of the River Spey. So you've got us for about half an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you around the island and show you around our camp. I'll talk about the kit that we've got, the do's and don'ts of camping, a wee bit about sustainability and leave no trace. I'll introduce you to Ollie, who's up there in the camp just now getting things all ready, and we'll answer some questions as well. Now I think Cotswold had asked people to send questions in beforehand, so we do have some questions that we've got prepared, but if you do have any questions, pop them in the comments below and we'll make sure that we get back to you about anything to do with canoeing, anything to do with wild camping and adventuring. That's our passion. So let's go. Let me take you up. So earlier today, I'll turn you around actually. So this is the bit that we came in here. The flow of the river's not too bad here, so we were able to paddle in here. And we got everything out and we pulled the canoe up here. So let me take you up to camp. It's very exciting. And the sun just came out as well, just for this live session starting, which is wonderful. So we just popped the canoe up here. We just want to make sure it's completely away from the water. We want to make sure, just in case the water gets higher during the night or anything, we obviously don't want the canoe to be swept away. We've taken everything out of it as well. And I'm just going to turn you around because we came out of the canoe and we came up here to find this clearing where we set up camp, which is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to introduce you to Ollie. Let me turn the camera again.
Hi everyone, welcome to the campsite. We've been here just over an hour now, so we're just sort of starting to get organised, and I'm sure that Lorna will explain as we go along that in terms of wild camping, being organised is really the key.
Yep, thanks Ollie. So Ollie is an expert in all things canoe, so any of the questions and things that you sent in about canoeing, I'm going to get him to answer them. But before we get started, and while I still remember, Cotswold Outdoors and Van Gogh Outdoors are running a competition this weekend. So it's throughout all of this weekend. If you set up camp in your living room or locally in your garden, anywhere, you can get creative with it. Take a photo, post it on your socials, and post it on your socials with hashtag Camping Masterclass, and that's you. And Cotswold Outdoors and Van Gogh will choose the best setup that they like, and you'll be in with a chance of winning a camping bundle or an adventuring bundle. And it's some really, really awesome stuff. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to talk a wee bit about our day on the River Spey before we got to this point, before I show you around camp. So Ollie, over to you.
So we've had a great day today. We've paddled for about 4 hours. We got in a small village called King Craig, just north of here, and we're now between Botergarten and Granton, and there'll be a chance later on to explain a little bit more about the River Spey and how that works. And the river actually is pretty high at the moment, and that's because there's been a lot of rain. But the other thing is that the rain has been melting the snow up high, which means the water is also incredibly cold. So one of the challenges that we've had today is basically what to wear, because the weather's not been too bad, but the water has been absolutely freezing. So of course, if we were to take a dip, we need to make sure that we're dressed and prepared for kind of cold water immersion, but at the same time we don't want to overheat when we're in the canoe as well. So yes, we paddled for about 4 hours to get to this island here.
And most of the way I did complain about cold feet.
There was a lot of complaining about cold feet.
I don't know if anybody else gets this, but I just get really cold hands and really cold feet all the time. And today, so we wear wellies obviously because we're going in and out the water. And today I put a couple of those, it's like feet heat pads inside my wellies. So it did take the edge off today because normally they're just like blocks of ice. Anyway, so let me show you around camp. So this is our, what would you call it? Our dining area. So we're all set up here for later on. We are going to talk a wee bit about Leave No Trace later, and the reason that we've got this up off the ground, and the reason that we've got everything that we're going to cook with is up off the ground as well. So this is absolutely awesome. The first time that I experienced this tarp was when we did something similar last summer. We came down the River Spey and we stopped at one of the islands a wee bit further down. And I mean, it was a beautiful night. We were really, really lucky because, again, it was a really nice night. It was last summer as well, so it was a lot warmer than it is just now. Yeah, just having the tarp up if it's going to be bad weather, if it's going to be raining, it just gives you another space. And actually, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about bringing the canoe on a multi-day, is that you can bring stuff. Usually, obviously, if you're going for a multi-day in the mountains, or if you're camping, then you do have to be very, very careful about what you pack. But with the canoe, I'll come over here and show you. Actually, I'll just turn you around again. We've got all these dry bags here. We managed to get absolutely tons in there. So we've got a couple of nights worth of food. We've got all our clothes, extra layers, hats, gloves, everything like that, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've got that, which is great. And I want to show you our tent. I'm so impressed by this. So Van Gogh gave us this away with us to keep us cozy for the weekend, which is incredible. So this is an Ascent 200. It's a 2-man tent, but we've also got this tarp, this camping tarp to put over the top. Absolute game changer. So what I was saying, what's really, really good about this is if you're in a multi-day camp or a hill night or something, and you're way wild camping and you have to carry it, the tarp goes down to absolutely nothing. And the tent's very, very light as well. But again, like the tarp that we've got here today, it gives you extra space. So if it's particularly bad weather, if it's raining, and you have to sit in your tent, it means that you can cook with the door open. You can store your stuff in there, and it just gives you that wee bit extra space as well. So I'm really impressed with that. So I'm actually going to take you in the tent, because there's a couple of things that I want to show you that I think will make such a difference with camping and things. So I'm going to give the phone to Ollie. He's going to turn it around for you. I don't know if anybody heard the story about when I went on my very first micro adventure to Pentland Hills, and I packed a John Lewis luxury collection hotel pillow into my backpack because I love a pillow. So imagine my delight when I found this. So this is a memory foam pillow. I get very, very cold at night, as I'm just talking about my hands and my feet. So this is a really warm, it's a 4-season sleeping bag from Van Gogh that I've got with me for tonight. But what I really love about this, again, is that it folds down into nothing, and it's very, very light, which is fantastic. Our tent, and this is just something that we were discussing just before, actually, when we were putting it up. What we add is basically a heat mat, so you can put this inside your sleeping bag at night. And how it works is that you need a power bank. So I've got my power bank charged, and it's a USB, so you'll see here, and all you do, pop it in, and then that's it. And you press this button here, and there's instructions with it that tells you how hot it goes, and it literally heats up straight away. So if you're having a particularly cold night, I would thoroughly recommend this. It's brilliant. So yeah, that was the things that I'd wanted to show you of the kit that we've got with us. So the next thing that we wanted to do is maybe just head over to the tarp and have a seat and maybe answer some of the questions that have come in. So let's go do that now. Right, so thank you for sending the questions, and they've been absolutely fab. What I'm going to do is we're going to have a canoe question and then an adventuring question. All the canoe questions I'm going to get Ollie Boy here to answer, being the expert, and I'll answer the ones on adventuring. So the first one's from our Debbie, and it's, where do you start with canoeing? I'd love to try it, but I don't know where to start. Sorry.
So it's a great question, and there's lots of different ways to start. But I would thoroughly recommend linking up with a local canoe that will share your passion for canoeing and getting outdoors.
That's great. Thank you, Ellie. The next question that we had in was, where is the best place you have woken up camping? And I'm actually going to cheat a little bit because I've got 3 places that I want to talk about for the best waking up camping. Camping is awesome anyway, but I've got 3 that kind of stick out in my mind the most. And the first one was last summer, when we went and we did Sullivan. But what we did was we canoed up the loch. Can you remember the name of the loch? I was trying to remember this yesterday. I
can't remember the name of the
loch. It's completely gone. We'll get back to you about that one. But we canoed up the loch, and then we had to canoe along the river into the next loch. And then we found this little inlet that was basically at the foot of the mountain. It was just incredible. And we set up camp there. And we actually used the canoe. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen the photos from last summer. We used the canoe, we put the canoe on its side and then put the tarp over the canoe. So that was a place for us to sit because it was quite windy. And obviously we had the tent. So we set up camp there. We went and did Sullivan, and it was just a bluebird day. It was beautiful. I think we passed maybe about 3 people that entire day. And it was just incredible. And we came back down and we could see our camp from the top. So we made our way back down. We had a swim in the loch, we had a steak dinner, a glass of wine, and then we stayed there that night, and it was the most stunning sunset. It was just absolutely beautiful. And then the next morning we got up, and actually on my Instagram I've got the photo of me pulling the canoe. So is it lining?
Lining, yep.
So we had to move between one loch and the next up the river. So obviously you can't paddle up the river if there is quite a good flow. So what we did was you put a rope at the front and a rope at the back of the canoe, and you basically just haul it up the river. And at one point when that photo was taken, it was really, really difficult. And I was really with all my might having to pull this canoe. And I was saying to Ollie, this is really hard, this bit. I was like, Ollie, and he didn't answer me. He's up at the sides taking a photo, being like, you're doing a great job, Lorna.
It's a great photo. It's a great photo.
But yeah, totally skiving. So that was great. That was absolutely one of my favourite. It was Ollie's birthday as well. It was just so special that whole time. The other one, which I mentioned briefly about the pillow as well, was my very, very first micro adventure on the Pentland Hills, where I finished work at 5 o'clock. I went and met Iona, and we hiked up to the top of the Pentlands, and we camped out for the night, and we just had such a brilliant time. It was just one of those nights where we had amazing chats. We had pause there. We had a really good giggle. We had really good food. And then we set the alarm and woke up before sunrise. And in fact, it was probably around about this time of year. And the sunrise over Scald Law was amazing. It had been -4 the night before, and there was a thick frost in the tent. So it was absolutely freezing. And just seeing that sunrise and feeling the heat in our faces. And we just stood quietly just for a few minutes looking at it. It was just insanely beautiful. So there was that one. And the third one, I'll be really quick about this one. Was a year past summer when me and a group of friends went to Argenteuil beside Chamonix. We went camping and hiking, and waking up there. I mean, when we arrived it was beautiful, but waking up in the morning and seeing Mont Blanc in front of us, I just kept looking up. I couldn't get over it. I kept tripping over my own feet as well, which was not good considering we were hiking that day. But that was mine. And I'm actually going to put Ollie on the spot just now. I'm going to ask him if he's got a favourite. He's not prepared this. So have you got a favourite place that you've woken up?
Like lots of favourites. I feel very lucky to have been to lots of different parts of the world. I think one of my favourite places has been waking up on Mount Denali in Alaska. You know, when you're able to unzip that tent and surrounding you is snow, but also these amazing views, kind of looking down the valley. But I enjoy being in lots of places and being with lots of people.
Yeah, same. And I think that's one of the things, that's one, like, we're so passionate about adventuring as well. It's just opened so many doors for us. We've met so many lovely people doing it. It's just been insane. You know, some of my best friends now I've just met over the last few years through, you know, Iona's hiking group, or through spending time and travelling with them. And it's just been, it's so lovely to spend time with people who share the same passion as you, because they just get it. And it's just so lovely. Anyway, on to the next question. This is one from Liz Gray, and she wants to know, one for Ollie, how do you prevent your gear from sinking if you capsize? Good question.
Great question, Liz. And well, Lorna's already sort of shown you all of the stuff that we've got with us. And basically we put all of our things into little bags like this, and they come in various different shapes and sizes. And you just kind of seal them up, and you squeeze the air out, and you roll it down, and they clip together. But most importantly, they clip to each other, and they also clip to the canoe. And as I said, they come in all different shapes and sizes. That's probably the smallest one we've got. We've also got these kind of really big ones as well to sort of make that work. And they've all got lots of straps in them. And it's our belief, and there are different schools of thought on this, is that when you're canoeing, particularly for a multi-day trip, you've got all of your bags nice and tight in the canoe, so that if the canoe goes over, everything stays inside it. But also, of course, inside these bags there's loads of air, so that also helps keep the canoe afloat. And it also means that if there's stuff in the canoe, it means there's less water in the canoe as well, so it's a lot easier to rescue. But great question.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to give you the phone because I need to turn the page. That's Instagram Live for you. There we go. This is one for me. How do you stay warm? I'm always cold, even if it's warm outside. I am exactly the same, coldest person alive. I did show you the heat pads there, but I will take you back to a few years ago when I was camping up near the Cairngorms beside Aviemore, and it was about October, and it was -4 outside, and you know, as an adult, I was relatively new to adventuring. As a child, I always adventured, and kind of mum and dad kitted us out with things. But as an adult, you don't really know what to take. You don't really know what to buy. So I had my dad's old carry mat, which was like made of foam. I went and bought a sleeping bag, but it was a women's specific sleeping bag. But I'm 5'10", so I think I'm taller than the average woman. So the hood didn't actually go over my head. And it was absolutely freezing. It definitely wasn't a four season. And like I say, it was about -4 outside. It seems to always be freezing when I'm camping. And it was really cold. I didn't sleep much that night at all, and I definitely learned my lesson. So how I keep warm now is I would recommend a few things. A good mat, a mat that takes you off the ground is definitely a must. I got my first one actually was last summer for the first time that we did a multi-day on the River Spey, and I had the best night's sleep I've ever had when I was camping. It was brilliant. Definitely a warm sleeping bag. For me, the warmest sleeping bag I could possibly find. And also, I think it's essential what you wear as well. So for this trip, because it's not summertime, last time it was summer, I was still cold. I bought myself all the merino wool. So right now I've got on, obviously we changed. So that's one other thing actually. We did bring a change as well for camp when you're canoeing, just in case you're going to capsize, or just in case you do get wet or if it's raining. So I've got my merino wool socks on. I've got merino wool base layers, both on top and bottom. I've got really good kind of thick hiking trousers and things on that come right up to the back as well, so that if I'm sitting. And I've got on, at the moment, I've just got on my down jacket with my sunnies because the sun's been coming out, which has been lovely. But in a couple of hours, I know it's going to get colder. So I've got a gilet to keep all kind of the middle warm, and I've also got a fleece, and obviously my hat and gloves and all those usual things as well. So at night time I had, this is kind of a lesson that I learned as well. I just sleep in my really warm sleeping bag, but with my merino wool bottoms and base layer on, and that just keeps me toasty. And if I need to, I put my hat on if it's going to be particularly cold outside. But now I have my heat mat, which is amazing, isn't it, Ollie?
It's amazing.
He's been laughing at me for 2 days because I have talked about nothing but this heat mat. Well worth the investment, I think. Anyway, so that's how I stay warm. I know it's different for everyone and everyone feels the cold differently. The other thing I tend to do as well is I sometimes use the little heat things that you put in your glove for your hands and your feet. You can get ones for your feet as well, which is just absolutely brilliant. Okay, one more question, again for Ollie, and it's about canoeing on the River Spey. So it was a question that I had actually for him, and it was just to tell us a wee bit more about canoeing on the River Spey. So, he's come prepared.
So I guess it's great to see like so many people sort of joining us here, and it's important to know that the River Spey is in the north of Scotland. In Scotland, there are kind of 4 great touring rivers, I think, for open canoes: the Spey, the Dee, the Tay, and the Tweed. But in my opinion, the Spey is just absolutely fantastic. It's about 135 kilometres from where you can get in, just south of Newton Moor, all the way down to Spey Bay. And during that journey, you'll paddle across lochs, you'll paddle on flat water with just some gentle flow. You'll also experience some grade 2 white water, which is just nice. It's a very, very famous salmon river. A couple of resources just to sort of show you here is if you're interested to find out more about the River Spey, this book by my friend Nancy Chambers is really worth looking at, and it talks a little bit about preparing for the trip and also the different sections of the trip. And also I'll just open the first page there, and then you can get a perspective of exactly where we are and all of the different sections. As many of you be aware, we've just relaxed the rules. In Scotland, we're allowed now to travel within our local authority area, so we can't do the complete trip, from Source all the way to Spey Bay at the moment. So we're going to be getting out in Granton, a little bit sort of further down the track. But the other thing that you might be interested in is there's also a really, really good long distance hiking path here as well. Everybody talks about the Great Glen Way, everybody talks about the West Highland Way, but there's also a Speyside Way, which is a fantastic walk. It's also a fantastic mountain bike or bike touring trip as well, and it also provides a really, really good map if you're wanting to find out more about the River Spey and how all of that works.
Brilliant, thank you, Ollie. I've just seen really quickly there that Matt is asking, do you need to wear a wetsuit in case you fall in? No, but you do need to wear a life vest. That's very, very important. I mean, hopefully you're not going to capsize and hopefully you're not going to fall in, but it does happen and it can happen. But no, we don't wear wetsuits. We do just wear our clothes, and we have our life vests on as well. And what we do is in a dry bag, we've got like in a separate dry bag, we have a kind of just in case change of clothes. So it's an entirely new set of clothes, so that if you do capsize and you fall in, is there anything else you want to add to that, or is that about right?
Well, we do wear our clothes, but our clothes are obviously sort of thermal clothes. They're designed to take the water away from you, and we also wear like a waterproof shell, like on top of that as well. So either waterproof trousers, or special canoeing trousers, or a waterproof jacket, which could be a canoe kayak, or it could be just a sort of mountaineering jacket as well, depending on the weather. So the important thing is to make sure that you're dressed for the weather outside when you're sat in the canoe, but also that you're prepared to take a dip and to survive that and to be relatively comfortable if that happens as well.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm really aware of the time. It's 20 minutes past. We didn't know if we would last the full half hour, but we might actually go over this slightly. One of the things that we did want to finish off with was a wee bit about the do's and don'ts of wild camping. And I think for us, this is something that we do feel quite passionately about, to make sure that we take only memories and leave only footsteps, and actually we try and leave where we've camped in a better state than when we arrived. So we just wanted to talk you through that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, the majority of the people that are watching, will know about Leave No Trace. It's a philosophy of clothes. Have I paused again? I'm back. It's just like a set of principles for people to follow, and it's just about being super sensible about it, because I know that with everything opening up, Scotland is just going to explode with people wanting to camp, and if campsites aren't open, obviously they do want to wild camp, and I understand that people want to come and experience this, they want adventure, but I think it's about having a really good understanding and that keeping that delicate balance of the ecosystem, and it's so important that we protect that as well. So I was just going to go through a couple of them, and I'm actually going to turn you while I'm doing it, because there's a few things that we want to say about it. Oh God, I nearly fell over a guy rope there. That would have been funny if it was live. Right, so the first one, remove all your litter and other people. So we always make sure we bring a couple of bin bags. We obviously put our stuff in, but what we'll do is, I'll take you for a walk up here. We take a walk around camp or wherever we're going to be. There's always litter that comes up off the River Spey that we pick up as well, and just make sure that we put that in there. So that's definitely one for us. Oh, the sun's out again. How good does that look? Don't cut trees or vegetation. Again, what we've done here, and I'll bring you back over, I'll turn you again, is that we always bring our own wood with us when we come, or our own fuel and everything like that, so that we're not having to cut any trees or vegetation, and light only small fires, and only if you need to, and up off the ground. So this we absolutely love. It folds down to absolutely nothing, and you have your fire, it kind of clips in. If you don't have to have a fire, don't. And I know it's part of the experience. We've brought one because we know it's going to be very, very cold tonight. But if you do, just be sensible about it. And actually, we found this as well, that obviously somebody's either set this on fire. We've got our pegs and things here. We'll take them out. We'll just make sure that the ground and everything is okay when we leave. I mean, I know it looks great and there's a lot just now here, but we'll definitely leave. And the other thing as well, which is really important, is to leave absolutely nothing. Don't even bury anything. So toilet paper,
by cleaning that up as well. And I think little things like the off the ground fire, or just making sure that you've got a base for your stove, or using something like a Vango Tranger which lifts it off the ground. These are just little things that you can do as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I think that pretty much brings our live session to a finish. I am absolutely delighted that nothing happened. I was convinced I was going to either trip up or fall or something. But yeah, outdoor. And Vango Outdoor, get your camp set up, send in your photos. We've obviously got our camp here as well. Eat lots of chocolate eggs this weekend, and get outside, seize the day, and have a fantastic